It's 9:20 in the French-administered Caribbean islands of Guadeloupe and Martinique. Banana plantation workers and family members have been engaged in a lengthy battle seeking recognition of blame and compensation in a highly controversial health and environment scandal. A pesticide was used on banana crops between 1972 and 1993 before being banned for risks associated with soil contamination and potential carcinogenic effects. Well, in the past month, the courts in France handed out compensation for a score of cases recognising emotional and psychological impact. But a bill to officially acknowledge so-called anxiety damages fell flat in Parliament. From the French West Indies island of Guadeloupe, the journalist Jamie Smith-Maillet sent us this report.
A rural market in Guadeloupe early in the morning. A colourful mix of tropical fruit and vegetables, including pineapples, guava, prickly pear and bananas. It's the banana plant itself that's been at the centre of attention here for the past few decades. Not really the fruit itself, but a powder-based pesticide, chlordecone, used on the crop from the 70s to the mid-90s to fight off the banana weevil. Banned officially in 1993, it left behind devastating health and environmental effects. The islands have one of the highest prostate cancer rates on the planet, a link officially recognised as a risk of exposure to the chemical by the French state in 2021. But reparation and recognition and justice have been slow, with anger around the topic still bubbling away. Jean-Marie Nomartin worked on banana plantations for some 20 years. He now serves as the General Secretary of the CGTG, a union actively involved in the fight for justice.
We used to live in a house which sat on the edge of the plantations, so we would breathe in the fumes. We had the fertilizer being spread just above our heads. It was washed into the rivers. That's the water we drank. I lost a brother at the age of 14 to generalized bone cancer. I lost my father to prostate cancer, and I have recently lost a brother to pancreatic cancer. And it's not just the members of my family personally, it's many, many families. The word contamination is really too weak a word. In reality, it's poisoning on a massive scale, and nobody wants to take responsibility for it.
The French President Emmanuel Macron has officially recognised the role the French state played in the scandal. Funds have been injected into a complex and high-measure chlordecone action plan on the ground, headed up today by Evige Duclé. She told me, from Guadeloupe, how the measures deployed locally were vast, targeting local populations, farm workers, fishermen, with continued efforts on research.
We need to be able to talk about the past, but we also need to talk about the future. The chlordecone strategy is all about protecting, informing, and repairing through action. The new measure is offering free chlordecone blood testing as a way of talking about why they have chlordecone in their blood and how you can get rid of it by changing food sources. We have to ensure we continue dialogue with all stakeholders and also double our efforts in research, making sure we work with everyone.
I'm walking on a track here next to some banana plantations on the island of Basse Terre. There's a steep slope that goes down to the waters where the Caribbean Sea meets the Atlantic Ocean. The banana plantations here today are cultivated mostly using sustainable methods, and there's a drive also for organic. But the soil below my feet, according to the latest chlordecone map, still has traces and sometimes a high concentration level of the pesticide.
The time that we would need to remove all the insecticides, but only by erosion.
Olivier Vrau is a researcher at Paris-Saclay University's Environment and Climate Science Lab. A team conducted a recent soil transfer and erosion study, revealing the pesticide could be removed through soil erosion.
The evaluation would range between 4,000 and 11,000 years, but it's just an estimation based on soil erosion, and we know that's definitely not the only process process. We have to be careful of the potential transfers of soil and associated substances across landscapes.
This is not the only method for chlordecone to be removed from the soil, as Evige Duclé also pointed out. At a political level, the local senator Dominique Théophile had tabled for debate in the upper chamber a bill seeking to reinforce the court's decision by ensuring state recognition not only for health damages but also for anxiety damages. This element was removed in an amendment from the bill. Théophile consequently decided to withdraw the bill from a vote. He spoke to me from his office in the island's capital, Pointe-à-Pitre.
I can't come back on what the struggle has already achieved. Many of our compatriots no longer drink tap water and are forced to buy bottled water for fear of being contaminated. They no longer consume our food, yams and everything that comes from the ground, even though the situation is not the same everywhere in the Guadeloupe. And it would be an injustice to recognize the impact of asbestos, of nuclear tests, and not to recognize chlordecone, which was a poison. It's harm and a wrong that needs repair.
In a statement, the French government reacted, regretting the withdrawal of the bill. Here in Guadeloupe, as the night falls early in the tropics, it is hardly a closed chapter for the chlordecone scandal, even if there is a small sense of justice after a prolonged battle. And in many ways, the struggle goes on.
Jamie Smith-Maillet there, reporting from the French West Indies island of Guadeloupe.